Hello, everybody. It's the Worm, and welcome back to Steins Gate. Last time was pretty intense. Still, I think I'm still recovering in a way. It's kind of funny when I think about it. How there have been quite a few VNs that have a well, how would you describe it? It's beyond creepy. Um, Homicidal children, something like that. And they usually save some really creepy artwork for it too. But yeah, so we went through that last time, the whole sequence with Nye, and yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what else I can say about it. I could say, well, there's a few things. One thing, getting away from just the emotional aspect of it, I was thinking that it shows me an example of something I think was said by Suzuha a long time ago. And this might be silly or obvious, or you might be wondering, well, why are you thinking of that? But I don't know, it just came to mind. But it made me realize that these people from the future, it must be very common knowledge. There must be a common idea about the will of the world. I think that's how Okabe describes it. The reason why Mayuri dies every time, or anyone for that matter, the reason why on a specific world line, everyone has a fated moment of whatever, and it doesn't even have to be their death. It could be just a fated. I think it could possibly apply to other things than just their deaths. But the fact that everything's set in stone, the fact that Nye, the reason why I'm getting on this train of thought is because when Nye did all her time leaping, so she went back, I think, specifically to kill Moeka. Maybe it's something like in the original run through of her world line. She obviously went insane. She grew up wanting vengeance for the death of her father, and she was able to finally get it through the torture and killing of Okabe, but that didn't satisfy her enough. And I suppose on the original run through, Moeka must have killed herself. And so Nai then, after having heard of the time leap technology, we heard her tell the story. She time leaped back. What'd she say? It was 2,700 something, but then double it because there were a lot of failed attempts or something like that. In any case, she was able to. She did all that, and she went back so that she could get to the point in history where Moeka died, all so that she could kill Moeka herself. So, again, that's not changing the fact that Moeka died. It's just giving her the satisfaction of having caused that death. That's the explanation we got. But what was interesting to me is that she doesn't even attempt to try and kill our boy Okabe here. And in a sense, you think, okay, that makes sense because he is supposedly fated to die 15 years from now. But what was interesting to me about that is the fact that Nai seems to know that. And I think I referred to Suzuha a little bit ago. She, I think, was the one that said, oh yeah, in the future, scientists have basically figured out how reality works, or the structure of the timeline, or I can't remember the specific words she used for that. So it's not like this is a surprise, but it just reminded me of that idea, and so clearly Nye is aware of that, and so that's why she doesn't even attempt to kill Okabe, because she knows, well, he can't die now. He's fated to die 15 years ago, or 15 years in the future. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting. I was just kind of wondering for a little bit, and then I came to that realization. It's it always, I mentioned it last time. I don't like that idea that fate is utterly certain. I know there's different schools of thought or philosophies or worldviews about that sort of thing, and I'm not gonna get into any specifics, but I just I don't like the thought of everything set in stone and completely. Well, I say that, but again, it's not exactly set in stone. Um, the outcome is set in is the outcome is assured, but the the what leads to that outcome is not. So, just in the example we said, we know Moeka dies on a certain day, but whether it's because she kills herself or whether it's because someone kills her, that's up in the air. So it both is and isn't um, completely forced to be the same. Uh, yeah, yeah. And last time we talked a lot about Mr. Braun, so I don't think I need to rehash any of that. Just that that whole thing where he, well, potentially killed himself to save Nye, and yet Nye gets, you know, what is he really saving her from when, we now know the outcome. It's that she turns into that. Um, yeah, and something that's I'm getting increasingly anxious as time goes on, having gone by those previous three choices now that potentially go into different branches of the story. I'm feeling increasingly anxious as we get more distance away from that. I mean, I'm eventually going to go back and do them anyway, so it's not like it's a big deal. But for some reason, I just can't help but think I'm missing something. Because we have seen in I think, what was it, in Lukako's ending, the one where we stayed with Lukako, we learned that other people can time leap successfully. It's not just Okabe who can do it, and that kind of gave us a little hint that someone else was going to use it, because Nai used it after that. So that makes me feel like I'm going to be missing some information going forward. But I think I'm settled on just continuing on as I am. So, how about I stop rambling and get back to it, huh? Let's so we just time leap. No, excuse me. We just sent the D-mail that should prevent Moeka from finding the IBN. Now, that's pretty huge because we should have the IBM back at this point. And so far, all of our efforts for the past, I don't know, how many episodes now? For a good chunk of the story, this is what we've been leading up to, getting the dang PC. And once we get it, and if we do what we think we should do, which is to delete the stuff on their server, I mean, it's not going to be that simple, right? There's no way this is going to be it. That feels way too easy almost. So what's the game gonna, or what's the story gonna pull on me this time? And because let's remember, the story can be very good about building us back up and then knocking us down again. So I'm prepared for that now. Okay. The world shatters, warps, and reforms. Eventually, those sensations disappear, and color gradually returns to the world. I find myself standing in the street near the lab. The burning pain in my right arm is suddenly gone. I look down. There's no wound, no blood. Instead, I'm holding a convenience store bag with 2 bottles of Dr. P. I guess it worked. I head straight for Moeka's apartment. When I get there, Moeka opens the door normally and peeks out at me. She looks fine. No sense of despair. Or excuse me, no signs of despair, no bloodstain by the door, no knife either.
Okabe-kun. ここどうやって調べ
How did you know where I...
少し時間を潰させてもらうぞ。
Let me kill some time here. I barge into the room. The hour of Moeka's death passes with no sign of Nai. The world line has changed. Moeka's right in front of me, but she sends me a mail. I don't need an IBN 5100 anymore, Moeka. Okay, but here's a hang on. Okay, two issues just popped into my head here. One, when we had the IBN originally, I guess we never let it slip to Mr. Braun that we had it, because otherwise he totally would have taken it from us, wouldn't he? Since that's kind of his whole mission. Yeah. Because if he knew it was there, surely he would have just gone right upstairs and taken it, right? Huh. Interesting. But second issue I'm finding. She says, I don't need an IBN 5100 anymore. That makes sense. We sent her the FB email. But we know that Moeka emails FB, what was it, like 10 times a day or more? Wouldn't she get told about it again, or what? I can imagine a couple scenarios where one, she could ask for clarification. I get it though. She's going to serve FB with no questions asked, right? So I understand that, but would FB not mention it again? Maybe not. I don't know, that seems pretty... I feel like we're in a pretty precarious position, because FB could easily, say something about it again, and Moeka would just need to ask for clarification, and then she'd go get it. So... but I guess we'll just cross our fingers and hope for the best, right? Moeka's right in front of me, but she sends me a mail. It feels like forever since we last conversed like this.
必要ないとは
What do you mean? My supervisor told me to stop looking.
FB からストップが
FB told you to stop? Uh-oh. Maybe you shouldn't have let that slip. How do you know about FB? Where did you get that information? So, FB's still alive. I feel relief, but also fear. I mustn't forget that he is my enemy. For now, however, I'm more interested in what Moeka just said. FB canceled her mission to retrieve the IBN 5100?
任務達成はすなわち処分確定。扱いとしては犬っつうより家畜だな。
As soon as our job's done, they get rid of us. Guess that makes us cattle, not dogs. I recall his last words. Perhaps he canceled her mission so that they wouldn't be eliminated. Say what? If that's the truth, then maybe he really was trying to save Moeka.
ただ怯え後悔し続けろ岡部倫太郎15年後に私が迎えに行く時まで
Live in fear and regret, Okabe Rintaro, until I come for you in 15 years. I wonder what happened to Tanai. I can't get that childish yet hate-filled voice out of my head. On that world line, I turned an innocent girl into a murderer. I bite my lips hard enough to draw blood. I won't fear you, Nai, nor will I repent. That world line has already been undone. Your vengeance-ridden mind is gone from this world. Now that I've confirmed that Moeka doesn't die, and that I have shifted between world lines, the IBN 5100 should already be back in my possession. And if that's the case, then there's no need to stay on this world line either. Interesting, I want to hear more. I'm a bit confused. Here. So I thought it was, we sent the message as FB, and that's what she was referring to, but then Okabe says that, or he's thinking that, Mr. Braun actually went and canceled it himself? What's the order of operations here? What's going on? I mean, maybe it was something like what I'm getting in my head is something like Moeka got that message telling her not to look for the computer, and then maybe she asked FB for clarification, and then FB says, you know what, call it off. Or something. Maybe? I don't know, I'm a bit confused why he's assuming it's a different message from FB versus the one he sent himself from FB's phone. Okay. And I'm also curious why he doesn't... How are we gonna... Okay, let's just hear an explanation for that. On the way back to the lab, I stopped by the Braun Tube workshop and peek in through the window. The 42-inch CRT is powered on, and Tonoji, FB, is lounging in front of it, reading the sports pages. FB is still alive. His daughter, Nai, has no reason to hate anyone now. I climb the stairs to the lab. There's nobody there but Krisu.
桐生萌香のアパートに行ったか
Have you been to Kiryu Moeka's apartment?
は？
Krisu pauses her at-channel browsing session to look at me in confusion.
萌香さんのアパート？私が？行ってないけど。
Moeka-san's apartment? Never.
そうか
Oh, okay.
どういうことよ？
Why do you ask?
いや行っていないならいいんだ
It doesn't matter. Just wondering. I do not see an IBN. It's very important to get the keys correct. Isn't it usually here? That's not so good. I cut across the lounge and head straight to the development room. In the middle of that room sits the time leap machine. After a glance at the time leap machine, I scan the shelves. Wait, it is? Where? It's here. A large, familiar cardboard box. Ah, I see. Is it this cardboard box here? My goodness, you are a sight for sore eyes. I was right. Inside the box is the IBN 5100, the legendary retro PC stolen from me by a twist of fate. At last, it has returned. The long battle is finally over. I did it. We can save my Yuri.
Super Haka! Super Haka, come on!
Daru, where's my Super Haka? I can't contain my excitement. My heart is beating like a jackhammer.
橋田ならいないわよ。
He's not here.
こんなにって言ってたじゃない。
Oh yeah, it's Kamima. hang on. Got a message from Mayuri. Mayuri, haven't seen you in a while. Okuren's been acting strange lately, so Mayushi didn't go to Komima today. Wow, that's quite something. Are you at the lab? Maybe I'll go there now. I haven't seen you in a couple days, you know. We usually see each other every day, so it's really lonely. I know it's only been 4 days at most, but I'm used to being with you all the time. I'm your hostage, remember? Don't let go. Well, that's sad to read. And we can't even respond to it, which is doubly sad. Okay. He went to Komima, remember? Oh, right. In that case, he won't return until evening. I can't wait that long. So I fire up the time machine and leap. Oh, okay, bye. Sayonara. Just a very casual time leap there. Back to the 13th, huh? As shape and color return to the world, I see Daru in front of his computer, sleepily playing an eroge. Krisu's napping on the sofa. She probably just got done with her all-nighter on the time leap machine. Mayuri's not around. She probably went to Lukaku's to beg him to cosplay.
Daru! Christina!
Daru? Christina? I didn't need to say that. Why did I say that? Krisu jerks awake.
これよりオペレーションベルダンディ最終フェーズを開始する
It's time for the final phase of Operation Verthandi. Verthandi. Versandi. Whichever. Man, you can tell Okabe is actually really excited because he's actually returning to his Chunin form. My goodness. My sonorous declaration earns only blank stares. Why are they so slow?
ダル IBN5100 だ
Daru, the IBN 5100.
だから
What about it?
だからではない IBN5100 があるのだよ
Listen to me, man. We have an IBN 5100. Yes, he knows. Gotta remember, Okabe. They haven't gotten the talk from Suzuha. So, you know, they're not gonna know the significance.
そりゃあるっしょオカリンが持ってきたんじゃん
Of course, he's very excited, so I get it. Of course we do. You're the one who found it, Okarin.
そうだ俺が持ってきた柳林神社からな
Yes, I did. I found it at Yanabayashi Shrine.
オカリン今日はやけにテンション高くね
Have you been drinking too much soda?
ちょっとぐらい寝かせろよ
Let me sleep for crying out loud. Krisu rubs her eyes and complains. She looks dead tired.
徹夜明けなんだから
That was freaky. You didn't, obviously you wouldn't have known, but I yawned a bit right as she yawned. Ugh. I get it though, yawning is infectious, so that makes sense. I was up all night.
ダル一つ聞くが IBN5100 の使い方について勉強はしたか
A question, Daru. Have you researched how to use the IBN 5100?
はまあ一応
Huh? Well, yeah, I guess.
コミマ前のクソ忙しい時期に僕って偉すぎじゃねイギリスだったらナイトの称号もらえるレベル
Can you believe I did it while preparing for Komima? I'm like a saint or something. They'd knight me for this in England.
ならば今日からお前のことをサースーパーハッカーと呼ぼう
Then we shall call you Sir Super Hacker.
だが断る
But I refuse.
くだらない会話は自重しろ頭が痛くなる
Will you guys chill out? You're giving me a headache. If Daru knows how to use the IBN 5100, then we can Excuse me, we can hack CERN right now.
全ラボ面につける
Hear me, Lab Mems. Mayuri's not here, but that's actually more convenient.
長き戦いにいよいよ決着をつける時が来たすなわちラグナロックが開始されるのだ
Our long struggle has at last reached its climax. Ragnarok is at hand.
本作戦の概要はすなわちセルン本部の最深部に隠された極秘データを IBN5100 によるクラッキングで破壊することである
Now we must deliver the decisive blow. With the power of the IBN 5100, we shall crack CERN's most secure database and destroy it from the inside. Maybe we shouldn't be yelling this when we know FB is right below us, but you know, whatever.
エシュロンなる卑劣な電子機器により奴らは我らの極秘情報をかすめ取った天津さえそれをもとに我らを特定し我らが開発した人類の夢タイムマシンの強奪をも目論んだ
I mean, unless what Okabe said about the message Moika got from FB is true, and he really has given up on his mission because if he completes the mission, then he is as good as dead, or something. Still not sure about that. Okay, through the cowardly apparatus known as Echelon, the enemy has acquired precious intelligence on our activities. Now they plot to steal our sacred time machine, upon which rests the hope and dreams of all mankind.
研究機関でありながらその裏で時空の支配者の座を望み非道なるゼリーマン実験を行う奴らに今こそ正義の鉄槌を下そうではないか
Beneath its scholarly facade of a research institution, CERN is a hive of scum and villainy, of men who would sacrifice innocent souls in their quest to rule all of space and time. But now we are poised to crush them with the hammer of justice.
そして真の時空の支配者がどちらなのか奴らの目にしかと刻みつけてやれ
And when we do, they will know once and for all by whose hand the wheel of fate truly turns.
戦いが終わった時世界を陰で牛耳る支配構造はついに崩壊し再構成されるだろうそう我らが望んだ混沌がついに訪れるのだ
When the sun sets upon the battlefield, the foul ruling structure that controls the world will crumble, and from the flames, a new age will rise, the age of glorious, unfettered chaos that we desire.
まあうるさい
Shut up. Kurisu gets fed up and rises from the sofa.
一体何なの
What the hell are you even talking about?
オカリンの心の闇は誰にもわからんでござる。
Nobody can know the darkness in Okarin's heart.
そもそも設定じゃ岡部は狂気のマッドサイエンティストじゃなかったなのになんで正義の鉄槌とか言っちゃってるんだ
First, get your character straight. What kind of mad scientist talks about the hammer of justice?
ついカッとなってやったんじゃね？今は反省してるかも。
I guess he just got caught up in the heat of the moment. Maybe he regrets it now.
お前たちごちゃごちゃ言っていないで準備しろ
Come on, guys. Stop complaining and get ready.
準備ってなんぞ？
Get ready?
だから今言っただろうセルンへのクラッキングだ
To crack CERN. Weren't you listening?
クラッキングは良くないと思う
I don't think that's a good idea.
なんという優等生的発言お前は委員長か
When did you become a goody two-shoes? Where's your ambition?
捕まりたいの
Are you trying to get us arrested?
そういう問題ではない
That's not the problem. I fight the urge to grind my teeth. Instead, I fix Kurisu with my stare.
俺はこのターニングポイントへ到達するためにこれまで戦ってきた
It's taking me so long just to reach this point.
今こそアルファ世界線を離脱しマユリを救う。邪魔をするというなら誰だろうと許さん。絶対にだ。
This is my chance to escape the Alpha World Line and save Mayuri. I won't let anyone get in my way. Anyone.
岡部。
必死すぎ。
Why so serious, man? I've got a good reason. To them, only half an hour has passed since the time leap machine was built. But to me, many, many days have passed since this ordeal began.
頼む。
Please. I bow my head deeply.
俺の願いを聞いてくれ。
Please hear me out. Or else Mayuri will die, and in 26 years the world will be ruled by CERN. Suzuka's sacrifice will have been for nothing. Daru claps me on the shoulder, then smiles broadly and thrusts his thumb skyward.
別にあんたのためにクラッキングするんじゃないんだからね。
It's not like I'm cracking for you or anything, okay?
これはひどい。
Oh god. I burst out in laughter. Sir Super Haka Sundari version is here to save the day. I couldn't have asked for a better right-hand man. As Daru hooks the IBN 5100 to his PC, I explain the situation one more time, and I pray that this is the last. Let me get a drink of water real quick. You guys know I'm just waiting for it, right? I am just waiting for something to go wrong. I absolutely expect it to. Which is a bit of a shame because, you know, I was actually kind of excited there with Okabe. You have to imagine after all the crap he's been through. Yeah, just I'd be so anxious. Okay.
つまり全ての元凶は俺が最初にダルに当てて送ったメールにある。
This all happened because of the very first D-mail I sent to Daru. Okay, hang on. I explained the situation one more time. Do you mean you explained everything? As in... Did you explain what you need him to do, or did you explain everything? Where all the time leaps and all the different world lines you've been to?
それがセルンのエシュロンに捕らえられてしまったせいでラウンダーに目をつけられた。
CERN intercepted that D-mail with Echelon and figured out what it meant, and then they sent their rounders after us.
結果マユリは殺され俺たち3人はセルンに拉致されタイムリープマシンは強奪される。
Okay, yeah, that's definitely everything. They will kill Mayuri, kidnap us, and steal the time leap machine. Some years after that, I assume, Daru and I will escape and form the resistance, to which Suzuha belonged.
どれだけ回避しようとしてもダメだった。世界はアトラクタフィールド理論により同じ結末へと収束してしまう。
I tried to save Mayuri, but nothing worked. Every world line converged on the same result, just as the tractor field theory said they would.
それもし全部妄想だったらオカリンはラノベ作家になれると思うお。
You know, if this is a delusion of yours, I think you've got a career as a light novel author ahead of you. Light novel. Illustrated novels targeted primarily at teenage and young adult males. The cover artwork often depicts cute girls. Although light novels can deal with just about any subject matter, recent years have seen a vast increase in stories about teenage boys meeting cute girls and winding up in extraordinary situations. Wow.
事実だ。すべてな。
It's true. All of it.
マユリの死を避けるためには
To prevent Mayuri's death. and to free Suza's future from CERN.
アルファ世界線から脱出するしかない。これまでに歪ませた事象を全て取り消すことで、それは可能になると俺は考えている。
We need to escape from the Alpha World Line, and I think we can do that by canceling all our changes to the timeline so far.
つまり目指すべきは、俺がダルに最初の D メールを送る前のベータ世界線。
That should return us to the Beta World Line. The world line that existed before I sent that first email. Okay, so, I mean, this was something we noted a while back, or something that I noted a while back, that if you keep track of all the different divergence meter readings, the very first world line that we happen to be in is already over 1%. So, yeah, canceling all the changes would definitely do that. So I'm a bit confused. We're still going to try and delete the data inside CERN's database, right? But that's not necessarily the same thing as reverse. Well, is it the same thing as reversing the D-mail? Or is it reversing the effect of the D-mail? Maybe something like that? Okay.
そこへ到達するため、エシロンに捉えられた最初のメールデータをセルンのデータベースから削除しなくてはならないのだ。
Yeah, okay. That's what it is. Yeah, we're not reversing that D-mail, we're reversing the effect of having sent that D-mail. There's just one more step. We need to erase the first D-mail from CERN's database. If what Souza has said is correct, then erasing that data will take us over 1% divergence and back to the Beta World Line. Okay, but here's my question. We're not in... When we sent the D-mail last episode, I can't recall the number off the top of my head, but I know it was still 0.5 something. So we're not there right now. How does... If we erase that data, because I'm stuck thinking about the whole thing where, okay, on a world line, everything's essentially already decided, right? So how do we, from within a world line, make a change that causes a change in divergence or convergence or something? I don't know. Suddenly I'm all confused. Are we going to have a scenario where we erase the data and then reading signer activates, or no? How would we know? Well, we could go check Suzuha's divergence meter in Mr. Braun's house. I'm unsure how this is going to work. Let's try and find out. It was just one short email, barely 36 bytes, but it changed the course of human history. Also, do you remember last time, when I was getting to the end of the episode, I said I did a little bit of speculation on what I thought the ending could be. And one thing I said was, we may get a bittersweet ending where we get essentially a perfect ending where everyone gets to have a happy life and there's no CERN. But it may come at the cost of someone or something. You know, it could come at the cost of, like, maybe Mayuri has to die anyway, or maybe Okabe has to die, or something. You know, something has to happen. And you know what I just thought of a second ago? That original Beta World Line we were on? Yeah. Karisu was totally dead there, wasn't she? At least... it definitely appeared that way. That's why we sent that mail, to talk about her death. So... yeah. Are we gonna have to sacrifice Karisu in order to get there? Because that would suck. That would really suck. I don't know. Maybe. Let's hope not, but maybe. Did I say this? It was just one short email, barely 36 bytes, but changed the course of human history. The butterfly effect.
面白いわね。
Fascinating. Krisu mutters as she sips her hot coffee. We still got no explanation. I mean, you know, for a long time, Okabe thought it was just a hallucination. But ever since he started the whole D-mails and the time machine and the time leaping, he hasn't gone back to really think about that whole situation he found himself in at the beginning of all of this. Because, I mean, there's a few things that are kind of important there. One is Krisu being dead, yes, but also the fact that the Suzuha was able to land perfectly on the roof of the building, of the Radikan building. What was up with that? So, there's some definitely quite a bit of mystery there so far, or still there. Okay, it looks like she's already recovered from her exhaustion.
マキセ氏は信じるん
You believe in Makiseshi?
仮説としてはね。できれば客観的データが欲しいところだけど、それはさすがに無理だし。
In theory, I'd like to see objective data, but that's obviously impossible. Oh, so you say, Kurisu, but you see, we have a passphrase. Let me guess what you're thinking right now. You're thinking you'd like to have your fork. Bam. I think that's about as objective as you can get. So now you have to believe us.
安心しろ。お前が改良を施したタイムリープマシンの出来はガチだった。
Relax. Your time leap machine worked perfectly.
当然でしょ。
Of course it did. She doesn't deny it. That's just like Kurisu.
それに IBN5100 でのハッキングはもともと予定してたことだし。
Besides, we were already planning to crack CERN's database, weren't we?
とにかくアクセスしてみて、もしそこにメールデータが存在していたなら、岡部の言葉は事実だと証明される。
Fine. Let's see what's in there. If the mail data exists, then it's proof that what you said is true. You know, now that you've just said that, I'm actually wondering, are they going to pull a kind of bait and switch where it's not in there, or something we don't expect at all is in there? Maybe.
要するに考えるな感じるんだということですねわかります
So what you're saying is, don't think, feel. Got it.
いや、逆にわかんないけど。
You lost me.
考えるよりやってみろということだ。
What he meant to say was, don't think, do. Daru extracts his massive body from the space behind the desk, plops himself down on the chair, and wipes away his sweat.
つなぎ終わったおちょっと設定いじらないとダメだけど10分しないうちに始められる
Done bridging them. I need to tinker with the settings a bit, but we should be up and running in about 10 minutes.
よし。
Alright.
それにしても元凶となった最初のメールね。
Ooh, are we gonna talk about it? Are we gonna actually talk about it now? So the first email started everything.
それってあれでしょ？ ATF で見せてもらったやつ。
Was that the one you showed me at ATF?
私が死んでたとかなんとか。
The one that said I died or something?
そうだ。ラジカンでお前が殺されているのを目撃した俺はダルにそれを伝えるメールを送った。ダルはたまたま電話レンジカッコ仮の実験中で放電現象が起きて。
Yeah. Yeah, I was waiting. I was waiting for him to realize. That's right. I found you dead at Radikan and sent Daru an email. Daru happened to be experimenting on the phone wave name subject to change at the time, so the discharge phenomenon occurred in the mail was... My voice trails off. Something is telling me to stop. Fear rises in my chest. A sudden, terrible certainty that I'm missing something vital. I frantically replay the conversation in my head. We must cancel all of our changes to the timeline so far. The very first email started it all. The one that said I died or something. Return to the world line that existed before I sent the first email. An icy fist seizes my heart, and I turn to Krisu with a look of pure terror. Our eyes meet. Those eyes of hers no longer show the sharp defiance from when we first met. Instead, they glow warmly with the light of curiosity.
何よ。
What? I was right. I had missed something vital. Something dire. The world line I set my sights on to save Mayuri. The world line and future that Suzuha wished for. The world line I am at last poised to reach at the end of this long struggle. On that world line, Mayuri lives. On that world line, CERN fails. And on that world line, on the 8th floor of the Radicon building, Makise Kurisu dies. Oh. You know, I'm pretty sure we've talked about that before. I think it might have been in the extra episode I did between 55 and 56, I think it was. I think I talked about the idea that Makise Kurisu was dead on that original world line. But in the intervening weeks since that time, I guess I've kind of forgotten about it again, only to just realize it, sort of with Okabe right there. Yeah, that sucks. That, oh boy. I mean, it makes sense. When you think about it for a few seconds, it makes sense. If Makise Kurisu is the mother of time travel technology, and if she dies, there's no CERN. There's no future time travel dystopia. I really feel that that's probably something a lot of people would have been able to say before now. I feel like I think I've mentioned it in probably in this Let's Play, but in some of my other Let's Plays where I feel like I can get all the information down, but then I have trouble putting it together. This feels like one of those moments. This feels like something that you'd be able to... Well, as I said, I think I mentioned something like this before, but I don't know why it just wasn't able to click in precisely the right way until just now. But yeah. So, what's it gonna be? We're gonna go for the bittersweet. Is it what's I can imagine a few different endings now. There's one where we could, you know, in the same vein as the other character endings, we could sacrifice Mayuri again for Kurisu's sake. Maybe the true ending will have us have to sacrifice Makise Kurisu for Mayuri's sake. Or are we going to do something like I said last time, where we're somehow able to break the rules, find another path beyond anything, and get a you know, somehow get a perfect world where everyone's able to live. I don't even know if that's on the table, but it's definitely not looking too good right now. Oh man. Okay. Well, this definitely feels like we're on the main part of the story. So I think I have pretty much full confirmation that the three major choices I was referring to previously, they must branch off into their own separate. Well, I think in some. Well, I know this to be the case because of some of the previous VNs I've played. There have been moments where you can branch off, and then that branch leads back into the main story. So maybe it could be the case where those choices sort of lead us away for a second and then bring us back. So it may not be their full-on endings or something like that. Of course, we'll find out at some point. All right. Well, we completed the chapter today, so I'm going to call it here. Definitely a very... Man, at the end of last episode left me feeling one strong emotion, and now I'm left with a different emotion, but also strong. The last episode, it was just sort of freaked out. This episode is just kind of, kind of bummed out. Just, how are we going to get out of this one, if we even can? Well, I'll try to think about it, but I'm not gonna hold out much hope for myself here. In any case, I've been the Worm. This has been Steins Gate. I hope you're doing all right, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.